Hi, my name is Jake Adams, and today I'm going to propose some changes to the way online classes are currently taught at MCC. So right now, it seems like we're applying a traditional class structure to an online class, which I don't think is the correct approach, because a traditional class, you've got a professor who can teach you and make sure the material really sticks in your mind. And an online class, you don't have that. Normally, what you're given in an online course at MCC is a discussion every week, a assignment through MindTap or another third party, and a big assignment. Well, a big assignment, like a written assignment or, I don't know, that's due in Blackboard. I don't think that's the correct way to teach. It's boring and it's text-based. Normally, when you're learning at an online class, you're doing it through MindTap, and through MindTap, most of what you do is from the textbook. Normally, you'll be given a few multiple choice questions, and you answer those by looking in the book. I've asked around, and it seems the way that students currently do this, it usually takes like an hour or two, but what they usually do is they Control F and then search for keywords, which that's not learning, that's in the ear and out the other. It's not inclusive. We've tried discussions, and I say like we've tried discussions, but they don't work. They're not discussions. Normally what you do is you post a big essay, and you wait until Sunday, and then someone gets around because they need to have a comment on one or two of someone else's submissions, and it's usually, Jake, I agree. Yeah, okay. They're confusing. Online classes are confusing. You don't always have a professor like Professor Tippett who will update you when she can't grade assignments or update you on different things that are happening throughout the week. Normally, at least in online classes I've taken, you're given your syllabus, which is long and confusing, and you don't read it. And from that, you're supposed to derive what you need to do each week, and you're just given all of that material and the due dates. And a little future benefit. Like I said, you're never really learning, it seems, at least I'm not, from an online class. You're normally just looking at your textbook or Google and answering questions. So my solution is to create better discussion, to utilize video, and to create a better online professor. So currently the problem with discussions, as I said, is there's little to no discussion. As I said, you spend a good amount of time answering the question, which is usually through MindTap, and from that, students will usually comment, and normally the comment it doesn't benefit the conversation. Normally it is just, I agree, and then they copy-paste something from your huge essay. Because of this, it feels like it's more quantity than quality. You're graded on if you have responded enough and created your main post. And I don't think that's really benefiting anybody. And it's overwhelming. You're given your assignments, normally for an online class, and it's up to you to learn the assignment, have it in on time, and continue on with the next one. And this can get really overwhelming when you have a professor that isn't all that great. I interviewed a student for this project who he had an online summer professor, and the professor, there was a discussion thread, and there was only one discussion, and it was a student who was asking for help from the other students because it had been a month and he hadn't had any communication with the professor. So to create the discussion, I looked at it, and it seems when you go online to let's say you want to respond to a discussion, you've got a ton to choose from, and normally which are the ones that have all the discussion responses? They're the short ones. So instead of that, I'd like to designate discussion groups. This would make a discussion feel more like a conversation, not another essay submission. Next, I'd like to grade a student based on what they contribute to the conversation, not that they just responded. I think if you do that, you're going to get students who are conversing with each other, learning about each other, because it's a small group instead of an entire classroom, which can usually be huge in an online class. And I found from the California State University an evaluation chart they use for their online discussions. So as you can see, you're graded on delivery, promptness, relevance, expression, and contribution. I think that's really important. And they grade this on a 4-point scale. Okay, so utilizing video lectures and walkthroughs. Harvard, they've recently really taken charge at the online course learning environment, and I was actually able to obtain a video from their computer science course. So let's take a look at how they teach online.
Let's write the first of our programs. We'll use a program called gedit, which is simply a graphical editor, not unlike Microsoft Word, with which we can create source code. Let's first create ourselves a file called hello.c. I'm going to go up to File, Save, type a file name of hello.c, specify that I want to save it in jharvard's home directory, and then click Save. Now the tab atop my file, indeed.
Okay, so I feel that this is a much better approach than just 20 assignments a week in MindTap. You're getting actual face-to-face communication with your professor. You're getting examples, especially for a computer class like this, you're getting a step-by-step reusable resource that you can go to instead of skimming through or control-Fing through an article. So here's some benefits I just listed. Puts a face to your professor. You can revisit it, which is great for an online student because being online is all about going by your own schedule. With a video, you can still go by your own schedule. And another thing, Harvard, I found that they record lectures. So if you miss a class, let's say you're taking a traditional course and you miss a class, you can just go online and you can see what you missed. So not only is it a huge benefit to an online class, it can also benefit your in-person students. One more thing. When you are recording a lecture, if a student happens to, we've all blanked out in the middle of class, you can go back to the lecture and really get a solid foundation or an understanding of what the professor is teaching. So making a better online professor. This is a tough one because it's hard to change a professor. Normally, there was an article online that said if you have a professor who's bad in person, they're going to be bad online. And I think if you're just a bad professor, how do you fix that? So I created some guidelines. What most students find hard about taking an online class is an unclear syllabus or schedule, a lack of communication or email, and tedious, boring material. So an unclear syllabus. My approach to fixing this, Professor Tippett had a very good calendar where you could look at it and you could see what you needed to do. You can get a good idea of what the course needs you to do. I think an easier approach to this is creating a Google Calendar. In Google Calendar, you can put all of your assignment dates or presentation dates or plans or days that classes are canceled, even if you're teaching a traditional course. You can put that into a little file and email that to all your students, and they can put it on their Google app. From this, if you have an update, like let's say when Professor Tippett updated about she was going to be gone for the weekend, you put that on your Google Calendar and it sends an alert to every student. Oh, okay. Announcing a course description, required materials, and expectations via Blackboard announcement. I think making this a requirement would definitely help in a lot of ways on online classes. Professor Tippett was very good at this in that every week or every few days there was an announcement to keep a good relationship between the professor and the students. I think that really helps in a student's success on an online class. Normally, when you join an online class, you don't get that. Set times for emails. Creating email office hours for students, I think, would be really beneficial. When you email online, you never really know when you're going to get a response. That can lead to a missed assignment, or maybe you didn't understand something about that was taught in MindTap, and tedious, boring material. MindTap assignments, I feel like there's definitely a better way to teach rather than really going by the book. I think if you were to involve a lecture video and use the book as something that you could help put a good spin on what you're teaching, I think that would be more beneficial than just relying on the book. Yeah, so when you do an online video lecture, you're bumping the effectiveness of an online class up to that of a traditional course, which I don't think is being done in the current state of an MCC online class. A professor can deliver the material better. It can make the material more memorable. And as I said, textbooks should aid learning, not be the focus of learning itself. So just to reiterate my main points, traditional class techniques do not always apply to an online class. Course material must be updated, and professors treat an online course with the same amount of attention that they would a traditional taught course. Thank you.